interested in that. You know, Anton kind of talked to me a little bit about it because he was saying that he would just get super hot using it.
That's what he said. He wanted to sell his, last I talked to him.
Okay.
But
And that's just the wind breaks, right?
no, they're actually, well, the ones I've seen were insulated as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking for ones that had battery packs that could, have a little fire going
Like a
inside.
snowmobile or something.
That'd be just.
But otherwise,
What did he say? Did he, was he
He
willing to
doesn't
come
live
in?
in town.
Oh, that's
Don
right.
Con. All right, let's call the Planning Commission meeting to order, January 3rd, 2018. Let's show, the records show that all are present, except that we do have still one vacancy on the Planning Commission. You know, so if anybody's watching, has an interest,
And if you're watching, you probably do. Just
there you
saying.
go. Contact City Hall and you can find out more. We have one item on the agenda. Is there anything else to add to the agenda? All right, we'll accept the agenda as it is. We have minutes of the, we don't have minutes.
We couldn't find minutes. We didn't know when the last meeting was.
Been a while.
Well, I thought it was September. I have September.
It was September.
It was, we could not find October. Sorry, you
Okay.
can approve them next time.
Yeah, we'll bring them to you next time.
All right,
that'll work.
so we have one item on the agenda, public hearing. Jennifer Schultz request for a conditional use permit. This is for to operate a single unit lodging facility in an existing duplex structure in the RCN Resort Commercial Neighborhood District located at the corner of the old Gunflint Trail and County Road 7 or 5th Street. We have a report. Jennifer, is there anything you want to add to?
I have some signatures from my neighbors
Oh,
in support, and a copy of an email from Janet Simon and...
yep, so we have that.
We did get
so-
that one.
Oh, you
Well,
do?
they've got the
Yeah.
email.
All right, there's that then.
I'll just pass this around if you wouldn't mind, just send it back my way.
Sure, sorry. So just something I'll point out to all three people that might be watching or so forth, the public. There's some confusion about where vacation rentals can be and where they can't be. This is the resort commercial neighborhood. This is a neighborhood where vacation rentals are allowed by a conditional use permit. So that's what we're considering here today, is a conditional use permit. Resort commercial neighborhood is generally that whole street, the former Gunflint Trail.
Yep, Fifth Avenue West.
Fifth Avenue West, yeah.
Between First Street and Fifth Street.
Yeah, so both sides of that street. The other areas where this is allowed would be Highway 61 and the other commercial zones that are in Grand Marais, such as this area, downtown core zone, and the multiple use zone, which is by and large the first block of houses and buildings on the north side of Highway 61. So I just want to clarify that. Not just anyone can come up here and ask for a conditional use permit for a vacation rental. It has to be in one of those zones. Generally speaking, we've approved them. I don't think there's anyone we've refused if they've been in the right zone, but sometimes we apply some conditions if we feel that there's maybe something about this that might be difficult. Most common thing I think that we've talked about is parking. And the rest of the rules are kind of yours to follow. Making sure you have a safe place, that's between you and the health department. But generally speaking, I was just looking at your place. It looks like you have parking coming in from two different sides.
Yeah, I own a
Is that-
duplex. and
Yeah.
I live in one side, and there's parking for 2 to 4 vehicles on that side, and then the entrance for the other side of the duplex also has parking for at least 2 vehicles.
So in the
Yeah, that's what it looked
in the one that you would be going for as a vacation rental, how many bedrooms are in it?
Or just one.
Just one. And how much parking does that unit have dedicated to it at this time?
That's separate, that's what I just said, is like at least 2.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you could park more vehicles there, but I don't,
And that's the unit that's off of Fifth Street?
yeah, County Road 7 and 5th Street.
Side, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That southeast quadrant there, that's you, isn't it?
I'm on
She's in
the
the
southeast
southeast of the
corner,
intersection.
That's
but
what I
I'm
meant, yeah. Yeah, sorry,
talking about
yeah.
renting the north side of that.
Gotcha.
Okay. So on the side.
Yeah, and as Todd said, that, you know, parking is usually the biggest issue that we deal with, because you never know with this type of transient rental, how many people might be there, and, you know, where they would be parking. A lot of times they might park on the street. And we generally tried to encourage the owners to provide off-street parking, and in some cases actually required off-street parking for those, that use. But, you know, you obviously have off-street parking for both units, and adequate room for accommodating users of both sides of the
Right.
duplex. Yeah.
Well, I owned that building there and converted it into a low-income condominium, and we've never had any parking problems. We have parking spaces in front of it, but there was always available on the street there. And so I had that for 20 years, and I never had one problem with any parking.
Well, it seems like you have adequate parking already.
And I would discourage, like when my children lived there, I discourage people from parking on the street,
Yeah.
because that corner is, people whip around. It's not a safe place to park, so
Right.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want anybody to park there.
Yeah, I would encourage, it's up to you, but I would encourage that you do set aside parking specifically for the lodgings. It does make the intersection safer. The property's already set up for it. So, you know, unless there's further discussion, I'm ready to make a motion to approve this.
I think we should just make sure we enter into the record that we received a letter of support from Janet Simon, who's a neighbor on Fifth Avenue West, who's in support of the request, and we all have a copy of that. This will be entered into the record.
Duly noted.
So if there's no other
Well.
discussion, a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion
I'll second
to
it.
approve it.
I'll third it.
You know, and
Now.
as required, for a conditional use permit,
Yes,
we have to make certain findings. And I think in this case, the findings would be relatively simple. The variance, well, this is not a variance, it's a conditional use permit. I'm not sure why it says variance.
Yeah, you're right, there's variance language in there that we don't have to discuss.
It's not a variance, it's a conditional use permit, but you have the wrong,
I didn't do it.
you have the wrong language.
Are you hearing that?
I have the right language.
Yeah, there's variance language in
Number
there.
one, any of the uses or purposes for which such permits are required or permitted, but, oh, that's what they can be used for, sorry. The use
Yeah.
conforms to the land use or comprehensive plan of the city.
It does, as a allowed conditional use within the resort commercial neighborhood zone district.
Is our standard answer. The use is compatible with the existing neighborhood.
It is, with the recognition that it is the resort commercial neighborhood with mixed uses that exist along its entire corridor.
I think worth mentioning the neighbor support as well.
Yeah, and we just
Yeah,
did that while you're gone, so.
Both the email and the,
Yep.
yeah.
The use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement in the surrounding area of uses permitted by right in the zone district.
Seems like it will not.
Yeah, how do you, I mean, it's a fully developed area, but the uses that already exist are mixed residential and commercial uses.
I also I think that the parking question fits into this one more than others. That we're talking about impeding, you're talking about impacts, and since you're not constructing anything new and any traffic you're generating is really gonna be contained to the property. So I like the parking one here too, somewhere. And lastly, the location and character of the proposed use is considered to be consistent with a desirable pattern of development for the area.
Again, a reference to the mixed zoning that's allowed, but also recognition that there's really going to be no exterior changes to the building as a result of this request, and parking will be provided off street.
And this one, the purpose of the zone that statement, which is also in your packet, I feel like that describes the use that's going on here.
Mhm.
Residential in appearance and low impact in character. That's the four for conditional use permits.
So we have a motion and a second.
And a
Any
third.
any further, and a third, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So Jennifer, this goes to the city council for final approval, and that will be next Wednesday,
Of what time is that meeting?
6:30.
6:30. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Mike, you want this for the record?
Yes, thank you.
There being no other business, the meeting is adjourned.
Bam.
Good.
There you go, Patrick.